Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the PCS for the last game of the night. My name is Serex. I'm joined by Nightstar here, who's been with me all night. And you are a star. I don't know how I tried to link that in. Anyway, remember CDBC Baker, our main sponsors here. Thank you to Riot Games, Carry Live, and Garena for their operation and full production. The point of tonight was to come in and see some of these competitive matches. And to be fair, we've seen some great level of competition. Sam9, massive shout out for their first win. But we have once again had a bit of a blue side diffy tonight, Nightstar. So the Frank Esports and Meta Falcon team. I didn't actually catch who was on blue side. Was it Frank?
It is Meta Falcon team.
Okay, all right. Well, you know the rules. That means Meta Falcon team have to win. So, unfortunately for Frank Esports, they didn't stand a chance with the stats against it. But at the very least, look, Frank do look like the favored team if we're looking outside the bias statistics, because the win against Jewish team, the win against Beyond Gaming, I think Frank Esports impressed me the most when they beat Impunity with a very competitive game in the first week. Frank do look like a team that have developed from spring to summer in a great way.
Yeah, this has been a completely different squad with YSKM coming into the top lane. They've also shifted their playstyle as well. They have played a couple of Kalista games, but for the most part, we've seen the Senna come out, the Seraphine come out, and it's really about facilitating, playing more facilitators in that bottom lane to then enable that top side of the map to really pop off. But we'll start with Meta Falcon team. They are starting on the blue side. Taco665, Hong 2 coming into the mid lane, Whale an issue, and Hong 2 coming in has been a game changer for the squad, who now have a player that can play control mages and more of the meta stuff.
Yeah, the Azir game coming through, debuted last time around, and Hong 2 actually, in his debut, did 41% of the team's damage. So, not only control mages, but seems like could be the core carry here for Meta Falcon team and add a bit of direction. I think it's interesting because we always knew that this team was like the 5-man development team, right? Coming out of university or like the lower leagues and bridging the gap together. I feel like for Meta Falcon team, there's a big story there, but same with Frank Esports, where you said YSKM is now that starting top laner, and we've not seen Kurt this split at all. So YSKM will continue running as Hollow, Pretender, Eminem, and Carries are there. And I think this squad as well is one of the most fun to watch. And Nightstar, I can only say that because Pretender has shown that he has a lot of potential as a mid laner. Yeah. Eminem still, you know, a bit of a core carry. And I think Hollow too has been a pretty daredevil jungler at the best of times.
Yeah, up and down the roster, there's definitely plenty of potential shown by these players. Eminem has already showcased that, being a fairly long tenured player. Hollow has at times showcased that. And the young guns, though, they're the ones really stepping up. YSKM, Pretender we knew, even though some of his lane phases could be a little bit suspect, his team fight capability was certainly there. And YSKM has just, it's been a completely different story in Frank Esports' top lane with YSKM now there. He has yet to play a weak side top laner. He's played 4 games of Jax. That's been his blinds pick go-to. It hasn't been a Gnar. It hasn't been a Sejuani. It's straight to that Jax. And this Jax could be a contested top lane pick because Taco has also played 2 games of it. And Taco, known for his unique counter picks, while YSKM is more about the brute force counter pick.
I just love that, a little bit more standard for Taco after the Jack stuff, but still, the fact that we're hovering around that same champion, the Fiora, Camille, the Aurelia, seen on your screen too from YSKM. There's going to be a lot of hype in that top lane with the solo kills hitting your brain right now too, so let's see as Taco has decided to get as close to the screen as possible for this one. Our last game of the night, and already we're going to start seeing some of those bottom lane bans to kick off draft.
Yeah, a lot of attention should be thrown into this bottom lane as Whale Issue have struggled a little bit in the lane phase. And we'll see if there's any anything tossed over to the Azir, because yesterday Frankie Sports did first pick an Azir on blue side. So perhaps MFT, they go ahead, ban it away, or first pick it themselves, because as Hong2 or MFT, I believe, were the other team that first picked it, and Hong2 really had a fantastic game on it against PSG of all teams.
Yeah, I mean, it was that 41% damage highlighted before. I feel like Hong2, it's going to be exciting to see what he pulls up in the mid lane this time, and whether we do go to simple control mages again. But look at those solo lane bans. It's the Aurelia I'm talking about. It's, I guess, guessing that the potential Gwen or the Kale or, you know, even the Jax comes through. Azir. Another solo lane ban targeted against Hong.
So it's going to be Frank Esports that go ahead deny it away, and that means the Senna is the last champion of the bot lane picks that will get picked up here. It's still available as a Lucian Nami, but again, if you're playing Lucian Nami, you're playing away from top lane, which is not what Frank Esports want to do. But Seraphine left available. This is a great pick for them. If they go ahead, lock it in, we might even see the Seraphine Tom Kench come out just to offer the safety for the Seraphine, and also deny it away from the Senna.
I mean, what's going on over here at the PCS? I see there's been Seraphine play mid, bot, support. It's kind of crazy to me because I'm not experiencing that in LPL whatsoever. And it's actually been banned quite a lot today. So for Frank Esports, you said the partnership with Tom Kench is there, but I guess jungle priority here instead of taking away Center Tam, which could be a mistake, where we know Center Tam is just such an easy go-to lane.
Yeah, and also possibly takes away some of the safety offered in that bottom lane.
Yeah.
And for MFT, I feel like it's a clear pickup right here, Tom Kench. And then the next pick, it really boils down to, do you want to invest it into making sure Hong2 gets a comfortable champion, or you make sure you get the Wukong or Poppy here for 665, Poppy rising in a ton of priority. And if you're looking for an early game jungler, teams should be pivoting away from Volibear, which has seen so many nerfs, and instead replace it with the Poppy pick.
Yeah, I feel like, we haven't seen too much Volibear, and the fact that Poppy comes up once again is something worth mentioning. The Gnar we talked about a little bit before. Kind of expected this one out of Taco, as he has had that as one of his plain picks in the league. So YSKM still yet to show what he's going to be flexing this match, but at the very least, we know that his pick is still up and available, and it looks like Frank Esports might even give him that final pick of the game. As bottom lane to be paired up without the Tom Kench Nightstar. They're going to still set up for engage, but not as much safety as the Tom would have given.
Those look to be locked in here. And okay, it's going to be a pivot. It's going to be Camille. YSKM locks in his counter pick right here. And that offers a little bit of flexibility here for Frank Esports, because now you hide where the Seraphine is going, and then perhaps you find a better suitable bot lane duo here. I fully expect a support pick to come out in this next phase for Frank Esports, and then just last pick 80 carry or mid lane, depending on how this matchup turns out. For MFT, we'll see what their bans are going to be. The Graves ban towards 665 is reasonable here, and then it should also be, of course, the Wukong pick.
Yeah, the Wukong that still made its way all the way through draft. Like, it's crazy to see that priority drop, as even the Graves comes first here against 665. Hasn't played it yet, and you know, maybe we're seeing another one of those adaptations we talked about a little bit earlier. But the Ashe ban here too, so the pick potential gone down here, and I like this Ashe ban because with Seraphine as a support, we're seeing a lot of Halo Blaze Ashe rising in Prio too. It feels like something that can really abuse the laning phase and poke down annoyingly enough. So MFT, a good read here on maybe what Frank Esports were looking to do.
Yeah, and we've also seen Ashe support, right? So Ashe Seraphine bot lane with an Ashe support can be really annoying to deal with as well, with the extra poke coming out from the support item. And of course, the Wukong taken away. MFT, we'll see what their next ban is going to be. Maybe the Ezreal. trying to think of other bot laners, but they go ahead, ban away the Galio instead.
Yep.
Try and take away the Galio Camille combination, which is pretty good. Pretty darn good, but still leaves a Mumu left available for FAK Esports. And as I said, they should look to lock in support and offer the flexibility for the Seraphine in the mid AD roles.
Yeah, I truly wonder how this rounds out, because there's good AoE here, but squishy members so far. Without really a true take, where for Meta Falcon team, we have the Bruiser Nah, we have Tom Kench. 665 has a lot of options here, and the draft looks a little bit more simpler to play for Meta Falcon team, which I feel like is always a plus with the lower tier team. As even with the Xin Zhao, just look at the all-in potential and look at the front line building up.
Another Bruiser coming out to try and play around this Senna pick. But for FAK Esports, they definitely have a ton of durability. Home 2 currently looking at this Silas. That would be a great pickup as well, because you're able to steal away both the Mumu ultimate and the Seraphine ult, which would work very, very well in MFT's favor. It gives them a lot of team fight power in the mid game. And for FAK Esports, how do they round this out here? Do they have some sort of big bot lane pick that they can play? This Karma is really interesting, because it would leave them with a bit of a lack of damage. But the Corki makes a lot of sense. While may not be oppressive in the lane phase, does offer that big damage threat as the game moves on. But the Yone pivot, I love this pivot, because now one of the concerns would have been, hey, if we go Corki, now we're very magic damage heavy. With this Yone pick, that gives them that extra AD source. And I was almost tempted to see, you know, the M&M running the Yone, but it will be Pretender taking it into the mid lane. This is such a fun matchup into the Silas in that mid lane.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's going to be fun to watch this melee matchup battle out. Just going to give a couple more seconds to double check and make sure, but Pretender, yeah, there we go. Yone in the mid lane here. It has been a little bit of a while, and I will say that this game for FAK Esports, I was saying before, looks a little bit harder to execute here with a more simple comp on the side of Meta Falcon team, but we have to also look at the damage there, Nightstar, because the damage on that team, a lot of mid-game focus. Senna is the late-game source, but, you know, the range has to come through. But look at all the tools that can be used to get on top of this Senna. I still feel like it's a little bit risky for Meta Falcon team, and I wanted your take on what we should expect through the mid-game and what you think about the scaling option in general.
Yeah, I think FAK Esports, they have a couple more options, of course, in that top lane as the game goes on. Camille is just going to be able to manhandle this Gnar up in the top lane. And overall, I think scaling favors FAK Esports up and down the lineup, but certainly MFT have their opportunities hyperscaling Senna as the game moves into the super late stages of the game, and also the Silas to try and keep up. But I love the team fight potential coming out for FAK Esports, and with the Seraphine ultimate and the Seraphine sustain, I'm not sure if the side of MFT have enough in a tank to be able to punch through it as the game moves forward.
So much healing there as well. It's going to be fun to watch. Nevertheless, a fun draft to finish us off for FAK Esports and Meta Falcon team to end your PCS night. Now, for the runes across the borders, we see a bit of an invade here. Nothing looks too different. Airy for the poke out in lane here for bottom. Pretender going for the lethal tempo, as one would kind of expect. And, you know, apart from runes, we have to note that there is triple TP on the side of FAK Esports.
Yeah, triple TP, when you are running the Seraphine into that bottom lane, you aren't looking to take super aggressive trades, so you have the ability to go for more of, you know, the control mage style of summoner selection. And for Wailing Issue, it's also a Senna Tom Kench. Yes, sometimes we'll see the Senna Tom Kench be able to find those 2v2 kills, but for the most part, you pick this dual lane not for those 2v2 duo kills.
Yeah, they have a strong level 1. Always surprises people that Senna Tom can do that much damage in the early game, but as you alluded to, the safety is also good there, as Pretender starts off with a pretty good trade here on the Yone. I feel like it's going to be a lot talked about this mid because a bit of strength in the mid jungle 2v2 on both sides. More engaged
Mhm.
so on Meta Falcon teams than we'll look at junglers here, Nightstar, because they are both tracking up towards the topward side, up towards that top lane where we also focus on YSKM, and he's pulled out a bit of a doozy with this final game of the night.
Yeah, bringing out the Camille pick. And I mean, the Jax, while it was, I believe, available for YSKM, the Jax isn't a good matchup into the Gnar. So that's why he opts towards the Camille. But it makes a lot of sense for Frank Esports. They just constantly save draft resources for this man to make sure he gets his preferred matchup. And now 665 looking for an invade, but it is spotted out by a ward. Maybe he pivots for a gank instead.
I mean, Pretender wants a cannon, but he's not going to get caught with his pants down on this one. So 665 just pops on in and doesn't waste too much time on the back end while Hollow keeps on farming away. You look at the farm difference built up already. Hollow up a couple of camps, and with these Krugs going down, will make it about 3 with 665 still looking for action. But, I mean, Hollow just keeps farming away as 665 wasting so much time.
He was very, very happy. Now has a 1-level lead. Knows that the vision plant was popped. And now maybe looking for the 1v1 fight for that crab. But unfortunately, Smite used by 665 and they instantly burst that out. However, at the least, you know, still have the bottom crab, and it is confirmed by his bot lane that the crab is still alive.
Yeah, making sure as well that, you know, no vision along the way too. For Meta Falcon team, their bottom lane keeping up with CS here in the Seraphine and Amumu lane. As Eminem actually going to get charmed here, or locked down rather. Tongue Lash, a good trade back, but there is great healing from Seraphine even at this point of the game. The shielding's there. And that's why bottom is going to be a bit of a snooze fest. Both have healing, both have sustain. Less junglers come down, well, then it gets exciting.
Yeah, and it should be noted that Whale got out.
Okay, well,
yeah, as you were saying,
right.
Bot lane very volatile because there's not enough shields and heals. And that's exactly where that first kill comes down. Whale just caught out trying to ward that bush. And, I mean, that's a great pickoff for Frank Esports. And all in all, it doesn't necessarily change the scope of that bottom lane, but it's still gold in their pockets, especially for a Viego.
I mean, I was going to say, might not change bottom lane, but the game at least feels like it's going to be influenced as Tucker goes for the all-in here. Armor shield's there. YSKM with the hookshot, walkshot, obviously not available for the time being as we pan across the mid lane where Pretender is again getting threatened for a gank. So he has to back away and Hong gets to play with the farm for a little bit longer. So on the point of Hollow getting the kill too, he had to burn the flash for it, but note that Whale burnt both of his in the process. Yes. So bit of repeatability available here for the Viego who already got fed off the center bot.
Another important thing to track is, of course, the mid-jungle combination, as Hong 2, as the Silas is going to have a lot of skirmish potential. And for Pretender, he'll have a little bit more duelist potential and also that wombo power later on with that ultimate. Okay, Taco level 6.
Well, YSKM wants 6 as well. Taco going very much over the top of the minion wave, but still doesn't really need to care about the all-in. YSKM will get 6 right off that minion, as you can see on your screen, and he'll pick up the majority size of this wave. So not too far behind up in that top lane as Taco ends up going back here, picks up the Berserker Greaves as well. Excuse me, Ninja Tabi. No, plated steel caps, as we are now new generation. And as he comes back, doesn't have to burn the TP, so will have himself a bit of a TP advantage up in this top lane.
We'll see if he's able to actually find usage for that before YSKM's comes back up. As Carries makes his way over into this mid lane to get control over this crab. And it's possibly an invade into this bot half of the jungle to try and further threaten the missing summoners on this setup.
I mean, trying to leash away red buff as it walks down. 665 knows that jungle's here, but suspect it's everyone. Pretender has himself the Fate unsealed, and as Smite comes through, Hollow gets away with red buff, but Hong is walking into certain death. Bandage toss was so close to connecting and would have set up for the perfect Pretender ulti as well.
I'm surprised they didn't try and perhaps force that play, knowing that they had the chain CC possible there, but you know, playing it safe has also been Frankie Sports' name of the game.
Good little stun there. YSKM still not just all inning, doesn't care. Taco tries, but it's just going to be a little bit of pressure. The cost of his ult, that's not on a long cooldown as Kerry's once again missing. Encore was a bit rubbish, and Eminem now down his ulti.
Oh man, missed opportunity for Frankie Sports, but now 2v2.
I mean, this opportunity is actually kind of great here as Pretender goes to the all-in. The Fate unsealed finds him over the wall, and Hollow does as well. Match step and Hong!
He's gone!
His burst damage unexpected. 665 survives thanks to the clutch play from his mid laner.
And Hong too. Huge there with his own stolen Fate unsealed. He's able to turn the situation around. So much damage pouring in onto 665, but he's able to survive with the extra proc of the Triumph, helping him out. So Frankie Sports, unfortunately, it was well thought out. They knew that he was in the bush and they collapsed onto it, but MFT executed the fight better. I believe the Fate Unsealed misses onto 665, not sure. He goes in. Yep, it does get flashed away, and that's critical because the Fate Unsealed coming in from Home 2 actually does land on both of them. And that damage, that small damage differential makes all the difference.
I think Silas is just continuing to impress me game after game. There are so many moments where it can fall short, but Nightstar, we're seeing this pick come through in many different leagues, time and time again, and especially since healing reduction is down. Silas is still in a good place.
Yep.
And Hong, once again, has so many great ults to steal this game, like Encore, Curse of the Sad Mummy, Fate Sealed, like everything works for him in this game, and now with the kill lead as well. The snowball starts a little bit early when we talked about, all right, limited damage sources here for Meta Falcon team and what they need to kind of achieve as Taco, once again, just doing the same old. And I feel like that's a great way to start this game when Meta Falcon team, we're losing out in gold thanks to some of the play spot.
And that's also the strength of Silas in this meta. When it's revolved around team fights, that means it's more about these big wombo ultimates. And what's better than Silas to be able to get access to all of those, or at least your choice of those. And a lot of these utility team fight ultimates, well, they have a great AP ratio, but usually the champion that has it doesn't build a lot of AP themselves.
Good
that's a great side
Pretender. Yeah, but let's look and see how the play develops, because as Hollow comes in, Meta Falcon team actually backing away. So, well spotted here as Pretender with the ulti. You can sense he wants to go in. Kerry's is now joined in as well, but without Curse of the Sad Mummy. And Nightstar, I mean, Herald's already taken away. It was already picked up. They're just making this play for the sake of it as Hong steals Curse of the Sad Mummy, gets Pretender, but a nice snapback here from the Yone as Hollow wants to come on in. Kerry's now with the ulti available as well. But 65 pops his Crescent Guard, and Fate unsealed. The Wombo comes through from Pretender. He has a key. He has a damn door to break down. A double goes down over, and Frank Esports still on the board in a big way.
They've unsealed that mid lane, Hysterics. Frank Esports set up so much resources, and now the 1v1 top side.
I'm so excited for this game to continue on with the blood continuing to flash away. Taco's about to die. The heartbreak is huge. Oh! 4-1 and Pretender solo kills the whale. We're going to have to call UNESCO for that one, or Greenpeace, because that is animal cruelty.
Let's go! Frank Esports, they just, once that mid lane play comes through, everything has just come undone for MFT now, as it's just that kill in the mid lane and a second kill in that, or for Pretender here. He goes and dashes in. This is the power of Yone. He just 1v1s you from a mile away, and he's still safe because of the power of that snapback.
Oh Oh, man, beautiful to see. Is close to getting his first item as well. FAK Esports continue to try playing this pick, and they're 3k gold up as we come back from all those replays. They've got a dragon. They've got themselves 12 minutes of such a big lead where this Divine Sundra here on Hollow was picked up early. He's probably got a lot more gold he's sitting on as well, and right now, Pretender on this Yone, close to hitting level 11. And a mix of sorts with the Zeal and the Immortal Shield Bow components. I mean, first item's coming shortly. It's just a little bit delayed with different directions.
Yeah, the Zeal really helps out the lane phase, but more than likely going to complete the Shield Bow first here for the extra sustain. And up in that top side, we do have the Divine Sunder now completed. Really, YSKM, I'm thinking that he's probably just biding his time, and now that he has that completed, this is where he starts getting really aggressive with his trades against Sinan.
Just to get more plating. I mean, always love the E usage there coming through from Yones, so feel like right now Pretender deserving of the praise we gave him at the start. Before we went into draft, remember, we talked a little bit about FAK Esports mid laner really developing in spring and being a bit more solid than a lot of people would have expected with the shortened down resume. Oh, are we just looking at him because he has no boots? Is the Observer just being mean to 665 because he's very slow? I get it. He is very slow. He has no boots. He went for Gore Drinker first. He just wanted power.
I think they were highlighting that he had Rift Herald and didn't throw it down.
Oh, that's even worse. both
that
are
might
not
have
good
been
things. Both are not good things, Nightstar. Good catch, by the way, and yeah. So Herald's gone. That was not great.
That was not his finest moment, but with 665, he's also been a bit of a mixed bag when it comes to performance. Yesterday, they had PSG on the ropes. And a couple of curious decisions coming in from 665 did give PSG that lifeline to eventually win out in the game.
I mean, yeah, we're just told by producers confirming the fact that, yeah, the Herald has timed out. I feel like you're trying to be polite and flame at the same time, Nightstar. We're going to get more from you in a second because MFT are gearing up for this fight, but carries with ultimate available. Eminem has the encore too. I'm worried about the fate seal to come through from this Yone. Pretender has himself the mortal seal. Is sealed? No. Denied. A two-man fate score. The field is sealed. It's a bit of a feel from Pretender as he has to go all the way back, but Meta Falcon team have lost 665 and everyone has to run for the hills. Hollow still wants a piece of the action as he has the Heartbreaker and the Flash just about to be up. The stun comes through. Hong is close to dying, but the Kingslayer will heal him up. And FAK Esports, this is the hype I was bringing into this game. This team is so much better than Spring.
Yeah, part of that is because of the improved lane phase. What is he up to? What is he up to?
YSKM is going deep and gets Taco and gets out. That's slick Camille play for the scene. He flashes in a straight line. Still gets hit by the Dawning Shadow, but he lives. So YSKM, you can see the player cap. He knows. He knows he made a mistake, but he doesn't care. He just took that with style.
He just laughed the entire time he fail flashed into the wall. Oh, I couldn't help myself as well. But we get to see the replay. There's just too many teamfight ultimates. Yes, you can steal one of them when you are Silas, but you can only take one of them. 665 yet again doesn't have his best moment as he flashed into a wall, but you can only take one of those teamfight ultimates, and on the flip side, there's still Fate Unsealed, Curse of the Sad Mummy, and the Encore. So when it comes to like 3v or 3v1, when it comes to teamfight ultimates, obviously the 3 wins in that scenario.
I just like looking back at the replay here from YSKM. This turret dive was so well played.
Yep.
I mean, just walks up. Okay, let's turret reset aggro the first time, and a perfect little play. Watch this. No, Observer doesn't want to be too cheeky.
I would have just liked to see the replay on just his webcam on that flash. Yeah. It flashes into the wall, but this is YSKM Unchained, and there just hasn't been any attention thrown up into the top side from 665. He's really played focused on this bottom half, and unfortunately, Taco, he's probably one of their best players, even though Hong 2 certainly a boost in performance in that mid lane. Unfortunately, he hasn't been able to showcase all his power because of how well Pretender has also played with his team.
Right, there's been a good moment where Hong2 had a good turnaround, but the jungle intervention, the pressure, as you were just saying, makes it so that this guy can't do any much further, right? As FAK Esports drop the Herald down mid, this one actually comes down, but it's bad as the last one. It's charmed on in. Encore, Curse of the Sad Mummy. The bait there, the Fate Unsealed misses too. Frank missing a lot, but it might not matter with a double stun from Eminem. And the Heartbreaker again, Hong2 in a dangerous place as Taco joins in, maybe to die. Frank with a 4-man group up through mid, and Meta Falcon team once again. The hills are in their sights.
And for MFT, they have the Tom Kent split pushing down in that bottom lane. Unfortunately, he doesn't split push as well as this guy.
Are you ready to die again? Hextech Ultimatum in the same place, same time, and Hong2 as he TPs in, wants to go on the support, but that might be a mistake. He steals the Hextech Ultimatum, but YSKM, he can get over the wall. He's about to get uppercutted. Carries won't be saved, but YSKM's given a third kill. This top laner is the reason we hype up Frank Esports as of recently as well. He's in a lot of trouble as well. Ignite down. We don't have a soul unbound here for the center, but we do have skill checks all over the rift from Frank Esports.
Oh my god, I am just so in love with this team, Hysterics. Not only because they share my name, that's besides the point, but the fact that YSKM literally pushes all these top lane matchups to its limit. You do not see any other top laner in this league push it to that point. Yes, we've seen the rest really style on opponents, but you don't see him look for solo kills each and every moment of the game. It's such a refreshing style in the PCS to see, where, especially compared to their previous top laner, Kurt, who is all about, hey, I just don't want to lose the lane too hard and be as helpful as I can be in the team fights. YSKM's very much the complete opposite.
And I feel like we don't have many laners like that in the PCS, right? I could go back and say, well, Rest has been one of them in the past, like as we saw in the last game, even on the Gnar. But outside of that, ICU was someone who got a lot of attention on Hurricane Gaming. But I look at YSKM and I see that 369, the shy factor as well.
Yes.
Throwing everything against the wall, against your lane. I mean, it's been beautiful to watch. And now 3-0 with Ravenous Hydra. Meta Falcon team want to target him, but with the hookshot, wallshot getting him out, he'll be targeted still. This is going to be hard with the knockup, just missing the Hextech Ultimatum there. He's hurting 665 as the healing won't be enough. The hookshot, wallshot won't complete a second time either. But Frank Esports, in the meantime, will get the Dragon, will get the bot side turret, will be able to make a trade here that still benefits them.
That's just so many resources invested in just killing a top laner. This is only 20 minutes into the game, Hysterics, and Frank Esports are up 8k gold, 3 dragons to their name. A Rift Herald actually used, unfortunately, it doesn't get anything off of it, but they get the fight, and time after time again, these team fights just look way cleaner coming in from Frank Esports because they have the tools to team fight rather than MFT, who feel like they need to find more of these isolated skirmishes rather than the full-blown 5v.
Run, Taco, run. Taco, how does he get out? Okay, well, I guess Holo just doesn't want to take it, and that's fair, considering the whole enemy team right now is MIA. Holo will spot them out all the way on the blue buff as he attempts to steal, but is not in the nick of time. We'll get the Gromp though, so a nice little takeaway, but you can see that Frank Esports wanted to make the play, set up the Baron that has now spawned, and that is an objective bounty for Meta Falcon team because they're down 8,000 gold just about at the 21-minute mark.
Yeah, and the other cool thing has just been the change in Eminem's playstyle, right? Because last split, we talked about him being the main carry, the main focal point.
Oh, hold
We're
up.
going to have a fight.
There is an issue, quite literally. Dawning Shadow is going to come through. Now, issue as he walks away. Won't burn a flash, but it was Carries setting that up.
Still, you know, hard to pick off a Tom Kench, even though they are 8k gold ahead. You're certainly not bursting him in 2 spells. That's certainly not going to happen, but it means that they can turn their attention towards this Baron, and they have plenty of sustain to just take this without really worrying about getting taken low by the Baron. I mean, MFT,
no vision.
They're clueless. Clueless.
No vision whatsoever. Issue and Wild, they're the ones who are going to head in first, but Kiri's playing zone control.
Baron
right
is just
about to go. Curse Sad Mummy and the Encore is a two-man. The following engage, here we go. A stolen one from Hong 2 gives a chance to MetaFalcon team, but the fade unsealed. MetaFalcon team have lost their souls once again. Pretender continues to be an absolute raid boss with a double kill coming through. YSKM has joined in the fun. Double for both solo laners, and YSKM, honestly, at this point, that must have just been some playful BM.
You even see the question mark pings coming out on that YSKM stopwatch, but clear as it is, man, that's going to be, that should be game, unless if they're going to respect the death timers, and they will.
They are.
All right.
Dude, all I can say is you were hitting on a point before we saw a little bit of an engage about what Eminem was in this team and how the dynamics have changed.
Yeah.
A great point to raise where, you know, a more supportive member, as I'm sure, you know, we'll see in this replay. But the Frank Esports setup here for the solo lanes could not have been more perfect,
Yeah, stuck in that choke point, and this is also what you do with the Seraphine, right? The Mumu goes so far forward, you just line up the ult even better, and then once the teleport comes through, it's just an absolute lock. There's no contest for these solo laners on the side of Frank Esports.
They all
even the stopwatch.
They
Hopefully it doesn't
big
bite
him.
Well, he does have the GA now, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He knew he had the gold. That's what I'm gonna throw that to.
Yeah.
And
I mean, they all spam pinged him. I love it. Frank Esports with the BM in return. It was all other 4 members that probably would be real YSK himself. I love it. It's a good vibe here, and this team now approaching 5-3. If they can get this win here, if they can seal the deal there, 11.5k gold up on MetaFalcon team. And right now, Frank Esports are showing up in a big way. This could be their split as they continue to rise up the ranks as Hollow stuns over the wall. YSKM is trying to end through the mid lane. 24 minutes. We've had some pretty fast closing games today, but Frank Esports with one more fight, they could make this stop right now.
Taco hopping in!
But it's only on the carry. Now Pretender still has ulti. Good charm with the Encore. Taco's now dead. Curse the Sad Mummy once again as Pretender's ulti yet to come out. He's charmed with a reverse Encore, but Pretender wants in. You can see it with them all lined up in a row. The fate is unsealed again. Pretender brings out the Yone and absolutely hands this over Hong 2, over the rest of MetaFalcon team. The solo lane's impressive. The jungler impressive. Frank Esports making a name for all the Franks out there that are feeling the same vibe.
Let's go! With that win, they are now out to 5-3. They are putting the name out there. This is a Team 2 watch, and that post-game celebration, everyone just laughing as they know that they just absolutely jacked MFT, and MFT a little bit lost there. I still think the solo lanes did perform admirably. Hong 2 still clearly an upgrade when it comes to lane phase and how he's able to play the game over when. But the rest of the map, it was definitely a struggle for them. And for Frank Esports, like, I need more. Give me more, Frank Esports, please.
I agree. This is why coming into today, you know, Nassar, we were talking together. I'm like, I think Frank is going to be, you know, one of the teams to watch. I feel like Frank Esports are the team I'm most excited for because PSG, DCG, Beyond Gaming, J-Team, like they all sit in a huge spot, even CFO, right? But Frank Esports are a team that were middling. They, you know, didn't get further than expectations in spring. Frank Esports now with this roster could do a lot of damage, and you know, we already talked up Pretender, but YSKM, you're right, is such a good addition to the top lane. Add something that I think only Rest, maybe Leaky. I don't know. I'm going through this list. Like Hanabi is a more passive player.
Yes.
You know, with a more passive champion pool. Like this is a very, very fly or die player, and I'm all about it.
Yeah, and we haven't seen any team try and contest that yet. They haven't played top side exclusively. It's been mostly still throw attention, a lot of attention down into that bottom lane. And the side of Frank Esports, they're very willing to handshake that because it means that it's isolated time in the top lane for their top laner. And he's just doing all the number crunching. You saw it in the 1v1. It was very well calculated. You saw slowly walked up to the Gnar, say, hey, I've got you in kill range. You just don't know it because you're not running away.
True. Oh, God. It was just time after time. Like, the solo kill came out twice. It was a beautiful Hextech ultimatum even the second time around. I always love it when we get, you know, some of those, like, solo laners. Hell, even just plays in general. That have obviously put so much time into the champion. Yeah, that flair comes out. It's refreshing. It's really nice to see from a middling team in the league. And as you said before, they're now up to 5-3. Beyond Gaming are 5-3. J Team only a win away. CDBC Flying Oyster 5-3. Frank Esports now on a 2-win streak. They move up from impunity. They create some kind of separation here in the bubble, and are now sitting tied 4th. And I don't really feel like there's going to be a massive change. Like 4th or 5th looks realistic at this point with the way Frank Esports have been playing this game.
Yeah, and if they're able to upset another one of the top teams, and that is just, they could realistically do a ton of damage in playoffs. We get to see the damage charts. It just wasn't even close. For the side of MFT, the Gnar and Silas just weren't set up to succeed. They just didn't play around them. They were constantly focused towards that bottom half of the map, and YSKM runs away with that MVP. Definitely a shout out to Pretender with the ultimates, but the fact that he was able to find more solo kills this game to add to his total is just, this is what I need more of this injected into my veins, Cyrix.
And he picked it so early. Yeah, he picked it so early in the draft, and like, we're like, oh, okay, we'll jungle here or support. YSKM just gets locked in the Camille. As you set us up, it's not a top laner who will be like, oh, you know, get us a safe pick, get us Gnar Ornn. Like, YSKM only plays carry top laners, Fiora, Camille, Jax, and has been looking pretty grand the majority of the time, so nice start. I feel like that's a perfect way to finish off because Frank Esports will have to verse PSG Talon tomorrow. So how could you not be excited after this team has broken the blue side curse of today, by the way?
It looked like it was going to be, as a coach said, blue side, just too big of a difference to overcome. But in the end, Frank Esports do manage to find that victory on red side, and it shows you the power of red side, right? You still get 2 powerful picks on that first rotation, and more importantly, you get to counter pick solo lanes. If you're able to cash in on that, unfortunately, there's just no teams that really focus on that, except really just Frank Esports, maybe DCG. But for the most part, no other team is doing what they're doing in draft.
No, they're not. That's why it's so unique. And oh, ladies and gentlemen, we'll go to tomorrow's match.
We've got a standings.
I really can't wait. We got I don't want standings.
Look at how this is so much different than what we had last split, where it was just like, all right, we got the top 4. Who's close? No one. This is a league to watch now.
You know, nice start. I'm a little bit grumpy because now I get to talk about it. You know, standings are important, but this to me was what I couldn't wait for. PSG Talon versus Frank Esports tomorrow. Watch Hanabi versus YSKM. I mean, even J Team, Beyond Gaming. Sem9 are going to beat CDBC Flying Oyster. They're going to
blue side advantage.
Sem9 are going to Worlds, as far as I'm concerned, dude. It begins here. The dream run begins here. Tomorrow's matches are actually so good. I'm kind of excited to see if Frank Esports can keep it up. Like, if they beat PSG Talon, then yeah, something is really going to happen towards the playoffs if this team moves up to 6-3.
Yeah, tomorrow is going to conclude our first round robin, first half of the split. will be done tomorrow. So a lot of these standings perhaps signaling how the rest of the season will play out. Frank Esports trying to make a climb into solidifying a top 4 position. That would be absolutely nuts compared to what they came in with last split. It was just like, you know, hopefully they make playoffs. Maybe the surprise with one game, take a map somewhere. But now expectations are definitely rising very quickly. And Hysterics, I would love to see Frank at Worlds.
Oh man, hey, that's the vibe I'm looking for.
Yeah.
This Sem 9, Frank Esports first, Sem 9 second seed. That's the spirit, man. Good to have you on, especially when we get some banger games tonight. Some of them might have been quick with a bit of a quick finish. But ladies and gentlemen, a big thank you to Nightstar for joining me, and thank you to you for, thank yourself for tuning in for tonight. PCS will finish, as Nightstar just said, its final half, or the first half of the best of round robin. We'll see you tomorrow to finish it off the week here for the PCS Summer Splitters. Bye for now, but not forever. Tomorrow.